Ms. Selma Putnam. And there's a lot of ways I can introduce her. I'll take the short, direct route. Selma credits Course in Miracles with guiding her spiritual path for the last 30 years. And she's been a wonderful, inspired leader here for bringing Course in Miracles tradition to this community. We've been working with it for over 6 or 7 years, 8 years probably here, and you'll hear from the announcements that we have pretty active Course in Miracles groups here. She describes herself as a combination, and this is the part I like the best. 1/4 Shirley MacLaine, 1/4 Doris Day, 1/4 Diane Keaton. How many does that up to? You got to keep her honest here, man. 1/8 Oprah. 1/8 Jamie Lee Curtis, with a smattering of Amelia Earhart, Annie Oakley, and Lucille Ball. So I think we're in for a treat. I don't know who's going to show up. But that's quite a lineup. The title of her talk is Mindful Spiritual Abundance. Selma Putnam.
Testing. No little puffs?
Cocoa Puffs.
No Cocoa Puffs? Oh gosh, this is fun. So here we go. So this is the month. This month at CSL, we're encouraged to contemplate what harvesting our spiritual abundance is about. What does that mean to us? How do we take that apart and look at it? When I connect with harvest, which is the process of gathering in, right, easy, and the word spiritual, which is a connection to my right-minded self, connects me to the voice for God, and abundance, which is plentifulness in all the good things in life, right? Harvesting our spiritual abundance. I get that when I am aligning myself with right-minded, deep inner self, while allowing spirit to provide for my needs. Harvesting your spiritual abundance. It's lovely this time of year. So how are we doing with this subject of harvesting our spiritual abundance? We can ask ourselves, so what are my thoughts about it? What are my thoughts about that subject? And how do I feel about my thoughts about that subject, for heaven's sakes? What do I have lined up in myself that give me rescuing tools that are at the ready, for example, and are available at a moment's notice when things perhaps don't go as planned, assumed in a certain way, and then maybe everything blows up. We have a need to harvest our spiritual abundance. So it looks like digressing a bit, but I'd like you to take that piece of paper that came in the bulletin right now, because what I'd like to address right now is really how important having spiritual abundance is to ourselves every day. Let's just take a few minutes and acknowledge how important we are each and every day and what a vital role each of us plays on this sacred stage of life on planet Earth. And why, for heaven's sake, is it vitally important to have spiritual abundance all stored up and available so we don't have to dip too far into our reserves and choose mindlessly, but instead remember who we are so we can choose mindfully. So we're going to talk about that today. Look at this. Take a moment. I'm going to give you a whole minute to look at this. Take it in. And when a hand goes up, I'd like you to say which one really meant something to you. Did you have one that stirred you from the inside out? Read it out loud. Raise your hand. Which one meant something to you?
Here, I did. If not for me, my gifts would remain forbidden.
Thank you. What about you?
If not for me, an animal might be homeless and a garden left unplanted.
Beautiful. Anybody else? Yep. Yep.
If not for me, my triumphs could not be examples to inspire others.
Take it in. Really take it in. And you know the one for me that means the most? Please take these home. They're great birthday cards. Change it to you, if not for you. Right? So for me, this one stood out. If not for me, my triumphs could not be examples to inspire others. That one. And I'd like really a lot to read this, the last couple of lines out loud. Together, I have always made a difference. Who I am is important every day. I am the face, the heart, and the soul of God. That's really something to take in. So again, here we go. I know that Al gets this actually, because right when we're ready to sit down and eat and we have our food in front of us, I say, "Thank you, God," and he says, "You're welcome." I like that. I like it a lot. So I ask, what seeds are we planting daily in our right-minded inner self that represents achievement of spiritual power, and in an instant allows Spirit to provide our abundance and provide for our needs? So this is a little interesting fact. When Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz is trying so hard to find her way home from Oz, Carolyn Meese, in her book Sacred Contracts, many of you know that book, says that Oz represents achievement of spiritual power, which is essentially meaningless unless she, Dorothy, can bring it back home, can bring back home what she's actually learned and apply it to her everyday life. Spiritual insight is not an end in itself, but a means to transform our life on earth from mere survival into compassion and service to ourselves and others. It's good, isn't it? Let's take the subject now of panic. We've all felt it. We've all felt it. We find ourselves in a situation that is an outside picture of an inward condition. In a situation where we feel panic. The outside picture in the inward condition really is connected to our ego. No, I said that wrong. In a situation where we feel panic, the outside picture in the inward condition connected to our ego it can look threatening, with attack, fright, separation, high anxiety, extreme panic, as we default to the ego as our teacher. But, with spiritual abundance inside of us, we default to an inward condition with the Holy Spirit as our teacher. So which thought system do we want to practice, right? Which thought system do I choose in that instant? Decisions, panic, decisions, mindlessness, mindfulness. Our upset is coming directly from our wrong-minded default choice. And we find ourselves ensnared in our ego once again as we block it. As we block any chance of a miracle, really. How in the world do we undo the true problem, which is our mind's decision to join with our egos in separation? And separation from our source. Well, we ask for help. And is it asking for help for the outside picture to change? That is looking frightening, full of anxiety? Or do we remember that we are, as the face, the heart, and the soul of God, and we ask for help from the Holy Spirit who holds our spiritual abundance at the ready for us to harvest? We ask for help that we be restored to our right-minded self and miracles that are our inheritance as children of God. So which thought system would save you? Which thought system would actually save me? Quoting from David Hoffmeister, A Course in Miracles, mentor. Unwind your mind back to God. Isn't it great? It's a great thing to remember. Unwind your mind back to God. Everything that is being projected, right, John, is a projection of mind. Unwind your mind back to God. Everything that is being experienced is a projection of mind. Yes, we live in a world of decision-making, lots of decisions. And as we make our decisions, to what do we default? Will we slip into our powerful ego panic mode of mindlessness or default to mindfulness? As in A Course in Miracles workbook, lesson 30. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. In A Course in Miracles, we're told over and over again to choose again. Choose again. I thought that's one thought, right? How many times have I said that out? Okay, that's one thought, but how about we choose again? I have a different thought on that. So, choosing again. Through meditation and daily lessons, we choose a place of love and calm, or do we default to familiar stress, anxiety, and panic? The world we see is an outside picture of an inward condition. Again, the inward condition is in the mind, choosing the ego as its teacher or the Holy Spirit as its teacher. It's a beautiful thing. So, well, last year, Al and I took 2 weeks vacation in Mexico. You know that we go there off and on, and we're blessed to have a timeshare at the islands of Loreto. Well, oh gosh. You know, we got there, and the weather was kind of windy, kind of gusty. It was February after all, so yeah. Wondered what the weather was going to do, but the third day after being there, fewer clouds, less wind. Went out to look at the beach, and the water was fairly calm. So Al and I got our swimsuits and our books and do what we usually do on the beach. And I said, you know, it's been a couple of years since I've been on a paddleboard, and I would just, I just got to go do that. And so I got my sunglasses, got my hat, got help from the attendant, and went out on the board. And Al and the attendant helped me in. And just want to see if I can still do that, you know, get out there on that water and paddle and feel good about myself that I can still do some things. And so I was out there, and you know, the attendant, you get on that board, and you get to your knees first, and then somebody helps you stand up, put your legs apart, and then off you go, out into the bay. And the attendant says, don't go past that point with those flags. You see the flags out there, by that point. And yeah, it's all familiar. Water's so blue, it's beautiful. Sky, oh, Mexico's a wonderful place to be. Oh, the mountains, oh, just look at them, they're just so brown. They're not green like Montana, but oh, it's just beautiful to be out here, and I'm paddleboarding, and I feel good, I feel strong. It's going to be great. It's quiet out here. Of course, the miracle student, so I sing. God is in everything I see. It's just beautiful. I feel great, my legs feel strong, and I'm just scooting right along out here. And I haven't lost my balance. That's good. Lost my balance. Wonder if Al can see me. Yeah. Another lesson pops in. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Paddle, 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 paddle. Oh gosh, there's that one with the flags. That's coming up quick. Let me see now. I'll just paddle on the right-hand side and I'll turn to navigate this bay and get over here where I'm safe and do what I'm supposed to do and what I've done before. When did this wind pick up? God, I feel like I had so much control. I was feeling so good. I did everything I see, and I can't really turn my board. The wind is just gusting, and I'm just standing up here. It's gusting. And look at the altitude out here. Really close to the shore. I really wonder if anybody sees me out here. And I really don't want to risk falling, so I'm not going to look for Allie. I better just paddle. I just can't turn my board back around and get it and stay in the bay where I need. Oh, great. I forgot about my hearing aids in. Oh, geez, now if I fall, now the hearing aids will get wet. This is the beginning of our trip, and my weight and my legs are really feeling weak now. I'm not feeling so strong at all. Somebody else sees me out here. I'm sure to get them wet if I fall. And try to lower myself out here before I can't really lower myself out here on this board. And the wind is pushing me up. And if I fall, then the board will move by itself out into the Sea of Cortez. And I'm stranded out here. I'm stranded out here. I'm too far out from the beach and Al will see me. True. There's hope. I'm feeling any hope out here. I'm really sad. Help me, Jesus. Jesus, it's yourself out here. See me? I'm out here. And it's windy. And my board won't turn. And Al sees me out here. I'm so really weak now. Well, I'm not a victim of the world I see. I just feel like not. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not. Jesus taught me that, of course, from miracles. I'm not a victim of the world I see, Jesus. You know I know that. Jesus, I know, because you said there's another way of seeing this world. I can see peace. I can see peace. Hey, are you okay out here? What? Voice? A female's voice. No, I'm not okay out here. The wind picked up and I got too tired and I tried to paddle against it and turned back into the bay. I was doing just fine and then the wind came up and then I remembered I had my hearing aids in and I just felt weak and really tired really quickly. I felt like I had no hope. When did you see me out here? No worries, she said. I've been watching you. I've got you. No worries. Let's just talk and relax and breathe. Now just breathe, breathe. I couldn't get across the bay, and I just, I'll help you get back. reminded me to breathe, and we found ourselves across the bay where the wind seemed a lot less gusty. She was about the size of 2 fingers put together. I don't know how she could paddle against that wind as finely as she did. She said she needed a good workout that day and wanted to paddleboard before the wind picked up. She paddled beside me and encouraged me to breathe, stay strong. She said exactly what I needed to boost my confidence, and soon in shallower water, she guided me in lowering myself onto the board. Like all angels, she had exactly what the situation required for a rescue. Her paddleboard even had, believe it or not, her paddleboard even had a curled up bungee cord with a Velcro cup attached to the tip of her board. So when I was able to get down on the board, just laying on the board, putting out my hand with the cup on it, she could pull me in all of this strong wind, and I was literally a dead weight on this board, and she paddled me back into shallower water. I'm not exaggerating when I say that it was remarkable that she could paddle me and pull me back into shallower water. The wind had really picked up and was very, very strong. Finally, we got to shallower water where we could walk waist deep, then knee deep, side by side, and we talked and pulled our boards. I thanked her, and we continued to chat and laugh at the circumstances. She said it took a lot of muscle strength to pull me in, and that it was worth a hard 3-day workout. She said she was over 40 years old, and she needed harder workouts anyway, so she could keep up with her much younger husband. They were traveling by car, and she had decided to spend one night and a day at the islands of Loretto. They would leave the first thing in the morning. It's not a stretch to say, I said, you know, it's not a stretch to say that you literally saved my life. I was in trouble up there. I know I was. So, how about you and your husband join us for dinner? I'm really excited to introduce you to my husband, as Al is running towards me, seeing that he's couldn't see me finally, and couldn't see me for a while. I said, I'm Selma. What is your name? What is your name? She said, my name is Hope. Hope? Your name is Hope? I said, of course your name is Hope. You certainly restored mine. In closing, this is the take home, folks. Like a mule, we carry within us the polarity of high-strung and calm behavior. High-strung mindlessness with the ego, and calm-minded fullness, mindfulness. Let's practice what works best and what taps into miracles that unwinds our minds back to God. Ernest Holmes says, we live in a perfect universe, but it requires that it be seen mentally before it can be part of our experience. Or also said, we live in a perfect universe, but it requires that our minds choose the Holy Spirit as its teacher when it's time to harvest our spiritual abundance. Thanks.